Ahoy there! Welcome to. Oh, dearie me. Here we go again.
It's never going to get old.
Ahoy there, and welcome to the Captain's Horror Meltdown. My name is Cammie. I'll be your captain on this journey, and I'm joined, as always, by the first mate on this ship, Jon.
First mate.
How you doing tonight, Jon?
I'm
Hey,
doing
first
good.
mate.
I'm quite glad to be a first mate because I very quickly looked up bosun, which I was.
Yeah, you were last time.
in the last episode.
What is a bosun?
I'm not going to go into it. All I'll say is it looks really boring, amazingly boring.
Your first mate?
First mate sounds. What does a first mate do?
I have no idea.
Jesus.
But it sounds quite important. And there's only two of us on the boat, so you're pretty high up.
How big's this boat?
It's like a sort of medium-sized fishing trawler.
What do we fish for?
Sharks.
That's advanced.
We don't. I think I'm pretty against shark hunting, actually.
Quick backtrack. Nice.
I don't know what do we fish for? Eels? No, we don't. Not eels.
How would
That's
you
terrible
fish
as
for
well.
eels in a boat in the sea?
I don't know.
What about mackerel? Mackerel's nice.
Yeah, it's tasty, and there's loads of it about as well. Yeah, okay, mackerel.
Yeah, perfect.
We're mackerel fishermen this week anyway.
Yeah.
Who knows what we'll be fishing for next week?
Yeah. Scampi. Scampi's not a fish, is it?
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
It's just a made-up term.
Perfect.
But if you have downloaded this podcast expecting to listen to some film chat, you might be slightly confused. This is not a fishing podcast. We are, in fact, a horror podcast. And we are lifelong horror fans. And we are on a journey, week to week.
Stop saying week to week.
Oh, week to week. It's not week to week. We have no idea how often we're going to release it here, do we?
I think, as you said,
fortnight to fortnight?
Undetermined amount of time. I think fortnight or 3 weeks is probably.
Yeah.
We're probably manage that.
Well, we're going to go from film to film, and we're going to try and tenuously link each film to the last. Last week, of course, we were talking about the film Martyrs, which is an example of the new French extremity movement, and the tenuous link to this week's film, Man Bites Dog, is that it turned up in a list of new French extremity films as well, which I think I probably said it last week, so probably not very accurate considering
it's Belgian.
It's Belgian for a start, and it's probably at least 10 years before that whole movement.
Yeah. Who compiled this list?
I don't know. I found it online. It was on Wikipedia or something like that. But anyway. But this week we are on to Man Bites Dog. But in the meantime, anything exciting happened?
Exciting? I don't
Anything
know.
exciting? Any horror related excitement? Anything tickled your fancy at all?
Horror related? Well, yeah, I've got children, so there's a fair amount of horror involved.
Constant horror.
I think I mentioned that Cormac had picked up chicken pox last time around.
That's always good for a bit of a nightmare scenario.
That was great. Really enjoyed that. Yeah, but I tell you, the one exciting thing that happened, which is, I say exciting, it's all your fault, is we bought a Nintendo Switch.
Oh yeah, nice. And are the boys enjoying it?
Well, obviously Cormac's too.
Cormac's
hasn't got a bloody clue what's going on. He does enjoy throwing the controller at pace against a wall.
Excellent. That's always good.
Yeah.
Good for consumer electronics.
Alexander, on the other hand, is absolutely loving it. Can't get enough of the old Nintendo Switch, which is nice in a way, but he does like me to play with him. So I'm like, oh, Christ. So, when I say that, I mean he likes me to play as player 2 in a game. I just want to clear that up right from the start. So yeah,
I was playing a mere 2 hours ago. I was involved in a Mario Kart Grand Prix with Esme, my daughter. So there you go.
Yeah. I was actually, sadly enough, once he goes to bed, I've started to play Mario Kart online.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. I've never tried that actually. I might have to do that.
It's a real kick in the balls because we're 41, so literally 80 to 90% of the people are younger and much better than us.
yeah, that's a good point, actually.
So I think my massive achievement this week, literally of the entire week, is coming third in an online Grand Prix. Wow, that's good.
I was quite impressive.
Well, I was like, So we've got a week of I've got a week of transition as well. It's sorry to keep talking about the kids, but it's Alexander's last day at nursery/preschool tomorrow before he sets off for school.
Before he goes to school, yeah. Big change.
Yeah, so we've got a week off next week. Me and him, Monday, Tuesday. I'm really looking forward to it, actually, because it's kind of weird when you've got a child who's 5 and one who's 2. It's very difficult to find an in-between activity that they both kind of enjoy. Yeah. So Cormac's going to be in nursery like Monday and Tuesday, and me and Alexander are just going to hit the streets.
Nice. Are you going to take him to see a horror film at all?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what certificate Incredibles 2 is. I don't know.
It's a PG, I think.
Right. Okay. So maybe not a horror film.
No, not a horror film. Well, we were away. We were away on holiday the last couple of weeks, and I got into a conversation with Esme about Jaws, of all things.
All right.
And I've said to her that I will let her watch Jaws with me in a couple of years' time. But which Marianne's actually already said, no, you're fucking not. Well, like, yes, I am. It's a PG.
Yeah, but I wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, I'm probably with Marianne in that. To be honest, it's not a pleasant PG.
How old were you when you first saw Jaws? Do you think?
I don't know, probably 2 or something. Something horrendous. It'll be something horrendous, but yeah.
Look what happened to you. Yeah,
I'm fine. I'm okay. This is a weird aside, but Incredibles 2 never really struck me until I realised that The Incredibles came out in 2004.
I know, it's insane.
What is going on with that?
There's a big gap.
What is going on with that? It's insanity. But I've also been sort of trying to talk him into, we're going to go to his first international cuisine buffet after the film.
All right, cool.
So I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, I'm going to try and expand his palate.
Actually, I am going to take Esme to a horror film because we're going to go and see Hotel Transylvania 3 next week. Kids horror film.
I gave him the choice of that or Incredibles 2, and he plumped for Incredibles 2.
Yeah, I mean, it is the bigger franchise, really, isn't it?
It is, but he enjoyed the first 2 of those. Of the Hotel Transylvania. Yeah. But I made the mistake of some other child's film. I made the mistake of mentioning to him, which I really don't want to see. So the Teen Titans movie.
All right.
I don't even know what that. I don't even know what it is.
So now he wants to see that. Just because you don't.
Yeah, I'm just going to tell him. But I'll use my usual technique to say, "Oh, sorry, it's not actually out yet." Yeah, that's bad parenting, but that's what we live by. Well, it's not bad parenting; it's just subjective parenting, I guess. Are you still on holiday?
I'm still on holiday.
Lovely.
I'm not. I have no work lined up for the foreseeable future, which is nice in a way, but it's also slightly terrifying. The most exciting and relevant thing to this podcast that's happened since we last recorded is I got a big delivery of Blu Rays over from the States.
Oh, I saw those pictures, yeah. A
mixture of Criterions and stuff like that, including the Silence of the Lambs, the new Criterion 4K remaster of Silence of the Lambs, which I'm looking forward to. But also, more excitingly for you, Combat Shock.
Oh God.
The new Severin special edition of Combat Shock.
I suppose I don't think we've actually explained where the name of this podcast came from, have we?
Oh, we haven't actually. No, well, I've hosted a sort of mini horror festival at mine for the last 3 years. I think it's the last 3 years, maybe 4 years. We're coming up for a 4th one, but I think it's over 3 years.
Yeah.
Which is called the Captain's Horror Meltdown. And everyone brings their own selection of films along, and then we all get a chance to put on a film each. And there can be no objecting from anyone else. When it's your turn to put on your film, you can put it on, no one can object. So it has some interesting choices, and I am quite heavily threatening Combat Shock.
God.
Next time round.
Blu-ray of Combat Shock, unbelievable.
It can't look any worse than Man Bites Dog does.
No, as we're on the subject of Blu-rays, let's talk about a film that we didn't watch on Blu-ray.
Yes, totally. I think it's time to move on to our film. So this week we're talking about, this episode, we're talking about 1992's Man Bites Dog, Belgian mockumentary.
Yeah.
Is it technically a horror film? Who cares?
I think
it's an
interesting thing to bring up, because I think this is the first entry that will be debatable as to whether it's in the horror genre, and it probably won't be the last, I would say.
It definitely won't be the last. I mean, we are basically going to be talking about anything that takes our fancy, I guess, aren't we?
Yeah.
So,
and don't get me wrong, there's many horror elements in it, but
there are many horror
is it
elements.
technically a horror film? Probably not. But yeah, that doesn't detract from...
It is extremely violent and extremely horrible.
Yes, yeah. Mockumentary, black comedy, I guess.
Yeah, definite comedy elements.
But it's a full-on 18 certificate in this country. And we will get onto that later in the in our James Ferman section, which is actually quite fascinating entry into the James Ferman era. You suggested this, Matt.
It's one of my suggestions. I've been meaning to watch it again for quite a long time, actually. It popped into my head not long ago, and then when I saw it on that list, I thought, oh, here's a good opportunity to have a look. I'd actually been sort of trying to investigate where it was available from, and realised it's actually still in print on DVD over here. It's not on Blu Ray over in this country, so it was a good opportunity to see it. I'd actually had previously owned it on VHS back in the day. At the time. Yeah, it came out on the Tartan label over here, which was a fantastic little label, which has gone tits up, but interestingly has been sort of revived, almost revived. Another company now, it's now Palisades Tartan, so they are still retaining the rights and seem to be still putting stuff out anyway. But so 1992, mockumentary, very, very low budget, did well at Cannes that year, won two awards that I can see at Cannes. Best feature, and then International Critics Week over there, and also the Special Award of the Youth.
That's pretty heavy. What's that? What's that award?
Presumably it's because the directors were young.
Okay.
I seem to... I couldn't really pin it down. Some people had said they were actually film students at the time, but I think it's probably more likely that they were recent film graduates.
Yeah.
And these guys, it was actually directed by three of them, Rémy Belvaux, André, Bonzel, and Benoît. Now I'm going to murder this name for certain. Benoît Poelvoorde, I think I'm going to say.
Well,
my Flemish is pretty terrible.
I'm going to have a look at it. Benoît. I'll just say, let's just call him Benoît.
Benoît, yeah.
Or
Ben, as he is in the film.
Yeah, Big Ben.
The three of them star in the film as well. They star basically as themselves. Rémy stars as the director, André stars as the cameraman, and Ben stars as the lead, the sort of title killer that the film crew are following around. And the film basically is set up as a fly-in-the-wall documentary with a film crew following a serial killer around as he goes about his business and sort of pontificates on his philosophies of life, which he's a bit of a... He's pretty slick, he's super confident, he's chat and stuff, but it also transpires that he is a extreme racist.
Oh yes.
Misogynist.
Yes.
General xenophobe. And we follow him on his exploits as they film him going about his life, including his murders, and they sort of become more and more involved in the process as they go along until we get to a fairly horrible scene. In fact, extremely horrible scene where they're implicated in a rape, and then it all just goes completely tits up from there, I guess. But yeah, like a real sort of oddity of a little film. Very, very funny and really well made, but also horrendously violent and pretty shocking still. I mean,
I would say so. Yeah, there's definitely some moments in there where you're just like, what the fuck? I mean, especially that scene you just mentioned, the rape and murder. Oh, God.
Which is completely... I've forgotten about, actually. And it completely... I'd probably erased it from my mind. It's just absolutely horrendous. Really horrendous.
Yeah. It's absolutely brutal. And that's kind of the first moment of the film crew being very complicit in... Because the director ends up taking part in the... Well, it's like a gang rape, isn't it?
Gang rape. Yeah.
So. Followed by, you don't see the axe, but you see the aftermath. Appears to be a full gutting afterwards.
Yes. Oh, God. That was one of the scenes that caused most problems in the States. I think until Criterion released this, it had always been cut out. It was going to get the sort of dreaded NC-17 rating in the States. Well, in fact, I think it did get an NC-17. But it also came out in an R-rated version, I think, which was heavily cut. So quite a wild film, and one that seems to have been, according to the directors, born from their desire to make a film that they could get made for as low a budget as possible.
Yeah.
Hence them all being in it. One camera, minimal lighting, minimal sound, and quite sort of quite inspired. They actually have Ben's family in it.
Yeah, that's excellent.
As all his relatives.
I love that.
and the fact that they didn't tell them what the actual film was, so they thought they were just taking part in a documentary about their son, effectively. So it's just so natural, isn't it? I mean, there's a real, it's really cleverly done.
But it's interesting because you've got Ben there as well. So I love the family bits, but especially as Ben knows what they're doing. And he's always got this kind of like telling, knowing look in his face whilst they're bringing out their general chat about their business and their son and how much they love him and how great he is. And you've already seen all this horrendous stuff that he's been up to. It's an interesting. I've got to be honest. When you first mentioned it, I was like, oh, I don't think I want to watch that. I think I've literally. This is the second time I've watched it.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
Right.
I watched it once. I never went back to it. But interestingly, that worked in a way because I couldn't remember very much about the film. So yes, it was almost like watching it. Yeah, almost like watching it for the first time. But obviously knowing roughly what the vibe of it was. And I still can't make up my mind about this film.
Oh, I really like it, but I don't know how much I could return to it. I just think it's like so well made, and one of the things for me as well is that it's just so it's so odd how it slips in and out of a comedy with this sort of very, what I would say, the very realistic killings, like when he strangles the woman on the train at the very, very start. I mean, there's no gore, but it's absolutely horrendous,
and it's full. You know, it's like it's close up. It's the two of them, basically both their faces as she eventually dies. And I think that's one of its kind of powerful points. Is it is very much in your face, unrelenting, and then suddenly it'll switch into a bit of humour. Yeah, it's very.
And they're all relaxing in the pub. And,
very disorientating. But that's kind of its great point. And that's the interesting thing about the gang rape scene, is it actually throws it back into focus what the fuck this is all about.
Yeah, exactly. Because you've kind of got accustomed to the sort of the violence, as it were, the sort of murders, you know, and you're sort of almost chuckling. You're not really chuckling along, but do you know what I mean? You're sort of you're going along with it like the crew are, and then suddenly just something that's way more horrendous.
Yeah.
Happens, and it's just suddenly you're like, what the it totally implicates you, like it's implicating the crew.
You feel at that moment you feel dirty as a viewer, I think.
Oh yeah, completely.
Which is their intention, you know. It's clever. It's really cleverly done. Obviously you've got your main character Ben there, who I only just looked this up before we even came online. I was like, hang on, what have these guys done since? And it turns out two of them, fuck all, essentially. And then, but obviously your main actor, Ben's been in around 50 films since that. It's like, what? I will say 50 foreign language films, so we probably
he's not familiar to anyone, certainly in the UK. Anyway,
not a household name in terms of English speakers, but yeah, he's made a whack of films, and I quite fancy going to check a few of them out because they look varied and weird. Maybe he's the Nick Cage of Belgium. I've no idea. Oh,
maybe he could well be. I mean, it's a really great performance in this. I mean, it's a very, very heavily scripted film. Obviously, it's very wordy, but I would imagine going into it, they were all sort of basically non-actors. But he obviously has the sort of his acting chops, doesn't he?
Yeah. He's
he totally pulls it off. He's great in it, really great in it.
And he's obviously, and also because he's it's like a constant diatribe from him, absolutely constant,
non-stop.
He's always talking, always talking, throwing out his views and various things. And as you say, a lot of them are massively racist and xenophobic. But the one thing that had me absolutely laughing out loud was when he was talking about he'd murdered a bunch of Arabs. and he says to the camera, it's like, but it's okay, I buried them facing towards Mecca. It's like, oh my God. And I absolutely guffawed at that. And it's like little things like it's weird because the film, you never settle into what's coming next. No. Because one moment you're actually, that's fucking hilarious. And then the next moment you think, that's actually deeply racist.
Totally.
And then the next thing, it's like, oh, someone's being gang raped and gutted. It's like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, it's a very odd film. And one of the things that I find with it is that suddenly there's a point where you're just like, where is this going to go? How are they going to tie this all up? What happens to the story? Yeah. So that's where it kind of falls apart really towards the end, doesn't it?
I would say after, if I'm being totally honest, after about an hour, I was like, this could be finished now. I could do without it.
Yeah.
I think it does. You're right. It does fall down in that. I think it could be a much shorter film. Not taking anything away from the guys, so they've made a cracking. I mean, for a zero budget, holy shit! I mean, great stuff. But I'd be proud of it myself.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But looking at like here today, 2018, I'm like, there was at least 20 minutes where I was like, I don't want to be watching this film anymore. Yeah,
and it just kind of weirdly meanders off. There's not much made of the. It's quite funny. The whole jailbreak thing, I suppose, is. It sort of adds a bit of excitement towards the end, I guess. But then, it's just like, they've got to just end it, don't they? Hence the sort of rival. Is it one of the rival? I think one of the rival hitmen? Or
I think it's like a rival hitman serial killer. And what's really funny about that bit is he's also got a film crew following him. But when I saw that, I was like, yeah, that's okay, fair enough. That's pretty funny. Especially when he's like, Ben's like, oh, he's got a bigger camera than you. And so,
totally. Yeah, but then they're like totally disparaging because they're like, yeah, we're shooting on film and he's on video.
Yeah.
What's weird, it did seem to sort of preempt the whole sort of reality TV thing, which still hadn't really happened by then. I suppose, had MTV started doing any reality TV shows or anything by then? I don't really know, but
looking at stuff online saying, it was a reaction to reality TV, but what was this, 92?
92. I don't think it can really be a reaction to reality TV.
No, I don't remember any. I don't remember it being a thing in 92. Mind you saying that, 92, what did I know in 92? How old was I in 92? Jesus Christ.
15.
When did we get this? Do you think we got this off?
Well, I was thinking, I wondered if we might have got it off Spike or something like that. But I bought it. I actually, because I had a limited edition VHS box set. It was like in a big cardboard box, and it came with stills and stuff in it, I'm pretty sure.
Cannot remember when I first saw this. And I'd say it was the only time I saw it. Maybe you had a copy and I watched it together. Absolutely no idea.
Quite possibly.
Absolutely no idea. Just don't know what to say about this film. I mean, this isn't going to be a massive chat in this.
No,
I think it's one of those films you kind of have to experience yourself. If you've not seen it, I do thoroughly recommend you watch it.
Yeah, and if you're interested in extreme cinema in any way at all, then you should add it to your list. I mean, I did actually notice that someone had mentioned that it's kind of what a lot of the later sort of real gorehound films could have done with sort of paying a bit more attention to what makes this a success. The films like August, I've not seen them actually, the August Underground, stuff like that, which is just like, Have you seen it?
I've got a copy nestling in the eaves upstairs. I'm not going to bring that film out in this podcast. That's all I'll say.
No. Well, I mean, I think that it is an example of very extreme cinema. It stands out as a sort of famous product of its time, I guess, as well. I mean, there was quite a lot of controversy about it. It certainly was well noted at the time, and it's brilliantly made. I mean, it does, something just stops it being a sort of 5-star film for me, really. I mean, but it's up there. I think it's a great film. amazingly well made on a like completely shoestring budget, and just very clever. And
if you are a film student or aspiring to make your first feature or a short, then by all means you must watch something like this. You absolutely must do it, because these guys made it for zero cash, and this is what can be achieved with zero cash, and I think that is its biggest success.
In fact, you could probably make it cheaper these days as well, because you wouldn't have to be buying film.
Exactly. You could make it for... You could basically... Look, if you've got a camera that shoots video, you can make something like this easily enough.
Yeah.
Which we're about to put to the test at some point later this year.
Yes. Yes, we are indeed.
Albeit a much shorter version.
Would you recommend it then, John?
What I was going to say is I'd recommend you watch it.
Whether or not you'll enjoy it is another story. I do enjoy it. I give it the thumbs up from me.
The biggest problem for me was it did slow down massively towards the end.
It does. There's no denying it. It does have that is its strongest weakness. I think its biggest weakness. It's just it kind of runs out of steam somewhat, but well worth a watch. Yeah, and you can pick it if you're in the UK. You can pick it up for. Well, I bought it brand new for £3 on DVD.
I bought mine second hand.
Yep.
For
nice
87p.
Nice. Nice. And still in print on the tartan label.
They were like I think I suppose maybe the Arrow of their day, I guess, but
I'd say so. Yeah, I'd say so.
That kind of vibe. And a bit more art housey maybe. Arrow do a lot of art house stuff as well, but I just kind of know them more for the horror stuff.
And we usually do a Blu-ray review as well. We don't. It's not available on Blu-ray in the UK.
Well, before we get into that, I'm going to get a beer.
Yes.
And we're going to take our imaginary advert break.
Yeah, well, let's take a break and then we'll come back for the next section.
Buy chips with sauce.
Welcome back, folks. Thanks for joining us. We're halfway through, I would say, our Man Bites Dog episode. And as I was saying before the break, we usually review the Blu-ray as well. We can't do that on this occasion. We'll be reviewing the DVD because that's all that's available in the UK. And it is available. The film is available in several countries on Blu-ray. It's out in France, Germany, Spain, it looks like as well. But obviously, it's a foreign language film, and none of those countries have English subtitles, so we weren't able to compare any of those. But we did watch it on DVD, and I will say both of us watch these films projected, and the DVD looked absolutely horrendous for me.
Oh dear.
Absolutely horrendous.
I don't know where to start. It's like, I think one of the things when you mentioned this and I was like, I don't want to watch it, I think it's half the reason was I'm gonna have to watch a DVD that was made of a 16mm fucking print, and it's going to be painful. And the most painful thing about it was like I stuck it up on the projector, and the picture didn't even go to the top and the bottom. It was like a square in the middle of the fucking screen. It was like, oh my god! But at the same time, I'm glad it wasn't any bigger because the weird thing is, like, I started wearing glasses 2 years ago. And during this film, I thought I'd try a wee experiment. I thought I'll take my glasses off and then put them back on, see if there's any difference. None whatsoever. It was a blurry mess.
Jesus. Yeah, I mean, with me, I had it on through my PS4. And
me too. Yep.
I don't know, does the PS4 upscale at all? I don't know if it does.
I believe it does. Yeah.
But at one point I thought these, because the subtitles were ghosting quite heavily, and I was like, there's something weird going on here. And I checked, and it was actually stretched. It was stretching the image because the film's actually in 1:66:1.
Yeah, like a ratio that almost doesn't exist.
Yeah, totally. And but it was being stretched to fill the screen, which like I resolved. Yeah, it was being stretched to 185, so I ended up resolving that and taking it down, and ended up in the similar situation as you, where it was like a box, effectively, in the middle of the screen, which actually helped a lot. It made the subtitles not blurry. When I was looking into this, actually went onto DVD Beaver, which I find quite helpful for checking the various qualities of different comparisons. And the Criterion DVD from the States looks significantly sharper.
Okay.
It's still a DVD, so I think this is just been pretty badly done in this first case. Just
a shitty transfer.
Yeah, just a shitty transfer. And the blue, it's actually weird going back to a DVD as well, because the special features, several of the special features are just text.
Yeah. yeah.
Just text, like, so let's scroll through a bit of text essay.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
It's
really so
bizarre.
bad. It's so shit. I mean,
it's terrible.
If you're an extras hound, don't even think about it.
Don't even think about it. No, not at all. And the other, it's also the only moving extra is the short film made by the same guys.
That's the only extra of note, I would say.
Which is a spoof trailer
I don't
for
know what it is,
a made-up action film. It's pretty surreal and also features today completely unacceptable blacked up character, which I wondered if it was maybe like some sort of, them being Belgian is some sort of take on, the sort of, Tintin famously had some pretty Tintin in the Congo was, I think it's banned over here actually for its depictions of African people, so I wondered if it was some sort of harking, but I certainly think we're missing out on something anyway, in the translation.
I looked at it, I was like, that guy can't be blacked up for no reason, surely.
No.
I mean, I'm hoping he's not blacked up. So yeah, we're talking a general white Belgian guy blacked up in this trailer. I mean, I think by the time I got to the end of watching this film, it's like the first thing I put on was this short film of theirs. I was like, oh my god, I can't take it. I just can't take it. Yeah, it's horse shit. I'm going to be honest, it's complete horse shit.
So I think that's all we can really say about the DVD. Really, that's everything on it. It's the British DVD is a fucking travesty.
Looks like shit. Features a lot of shit.
I'd be interested to see if someone does a restoration on it. Criterion still have the rights in the States. Whether or not they'll get round to upgrading it, I think it's pretty unlikely, really. But I mean, I can't actually find any reviews for any of the picture quality for any of the foreign releases at all, so I can't really tell.
What I would say is, my complete summing up of the picture quality in this DVD is it makes Kevin Smith's Clerks look like Apocalypse Now.
Yeah, and they were shot the same year, weren't they?
Indeed they were. I think
Clerks
so. Roughly,
yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
If you're a picture hound quality, avert your eyes.
Yeah, God. Well, I think you'd said that actually, weren't you? The real horror story, the real horror film here is what it's doing to my eyes.
Totally. Yes, I can't think of anywhere else to go from that. If you want to check it out in the UK, it is available, and for 83 pence, then well, fuck it, It's
where can you go wrong?
It's about the price of a bag of crisps.
Yeah, you could probably take that to a car boot sale and sell it for £1.
Which reminds me,
made your money back.
Totally, it reminds me of like friends of ours gave us some various baby stuff because their youngest daughter is a bit older than Cormac, so they said, "I'll have all this stuff." And I was like, "Cool." So, what do you want to do with it after we're done with it? So I'll just sell it. I was like, oh, cool, I'll sell it and give you the cash, whatever I get for it. And we met up with them last week and I gave them 30 quid. Someone had bought a baby bouncer from us. I said, oh, there's 30 quid. They're like, what for? Oh, the baby bouncer. It's like, shit, we paid 10 quid for that in a car boot sale.
There you go, winner.
Absolutely brilliant.
It almost feels like a bit of a shame. Like, it feels like it's actually quite a important film in some ways, and it's just languishing. I mean, it's the kind of film that, I mean, do you know what? Give it another 10 years. If it's not been put out again, then it'll probably just be erased from memory, really, won't it?
Yeah.
It'll just disappear, I think.
Which I think probably brings us on nicely to
our next section. Our final section. What would James Ferman think? And we actually, this was actually released in the Ferman era, so we know what James Ferman thought.
Yeah, we know exactly what he thought.
Yeah,
and it is surprising.
It's very surprising. The film was released completely uncut in the cinema and on video over here.
Which was not the same case in many other countries.
No, certainly was not. And quite interesting, actually. I'd sort of dug out my copy of, I don't know if you've ever read it, John, actually, a book called Censored by Tom G. Matthews, which covers the history of the BBFC. And I think, oh God, when did this book come out? I think it was mid-90s, maybe? 1994. So Man Bites Dog is mentioned in this. It is actually covered. And the interesting thing with Man Bites Dog is that it came out just when there's two famous sort of moral panics in the UK to do with films so far. Who knows if another one will ever turn up. First one being 1980, the early 80s, culminating in the 1984 Video Ratings Act, I guess, which brought in compulsory certificates for films on video. And that first moral outrage was to do with the video nasties. And that was a big sort of press media witch hunt then. But the second moral panic came about with the James Bulger killing. This film got through completely unscathed because it was passed sort of quite quietly for cinema and video release at the same time. Mm-hmm. And before the sort of moral outrage sort of kicked off, I think it actually says in the book as well that Romper Stomper was the same. They'd both got their certificates before the moral panic started.
Yeah, I think Reservoir Dogs and Henry were just on the other side of that.
Yeah, Bad Lieutenant as well, actually. Henry was a lot earlier, actually, when it came out in 1990.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, so obviously Reservoir Dogs. So, but that was heavily cut.
Yes. So that's
with a very similar theme, but heavily cut.
Very similar theme, and like quite a sort of dramatic. I mean, Ferman went to town on that one, on Henry, really, and there's quite a lot of stuff's been written about that, actually. And I reckon that we will come round to Henry at some point.
I guess we will. I'm sure we will. We
will get there.
It'll happen.
But this one managed to get away with it. I think basically the implication in that book is that if it had just been released in the cinema, which is what happened with Reservoir Dogs. Reservoir Dogs was released completely uncut in the cinema. And then the moral panic kicked off, and it just went into VHS limbo. It went into video limbo, and the James Ferman refused to pass it until everything had died down again, because he knew that if he'd put it out, he'd get total pelters from the press. I mean, the press were just ripping into anything at the time, really, weren't they? You know?
Yeah.
So quite interesting. I think Ferman as well seems to. I've got in my head. I couldn't really find anything any more about it. I seem to recall Ferman being quite sort of positive about Man Bites Dog.
He was. I've read a few articles today which were really quite interesting, especially because I think one of the big things that was cut elsewhere was the gang rape and murder scene.
Yeah, and the child murder as well, I think was cut in the States.
But he was very much, that has to stay in so that the viewer is shocked back into what is actually yeah. So that you can laugh at these various things, but at the same time they're horrible. And then that scene really starkly brought back in, oh, this is absolutely fucking disgraceful. So that was, but I read another thing which wasn't from Ferman. It was someone else involved in the rating of the film. And their basic it goes with Ferman's as well. Their reasoning was it's black and white.
Yeah.
Unfucking-believable. That's the thing. Yeah. That's the thing. Yeah. B, it's foreign language.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. And C, what the guy said, not James Ferman, some other unnamed person. He didn't say it in as many words, but what he alluded to was the working classes are never likely to be interested in watching this film.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's like historically, it's horrendous. I mean, that is historically has been the case in the BBFC.
An offensive thing to say.
But that's what they were. That was something that they were very much about, and had been in the past as well. That, like, it's all very. I think one of the sort of older censors, had said, "Oh, it's all very well." The art house crowd sitting watching this, but can you imagine factory workers in Manchester saw it?
Yeah.
They're like, what the fuck?
So that was so weird to me. It's just like reading that. It's like,
the rating exists before the BBFC became more open and more accountable. And there's not really any information on the BBFC website about it, except that they passed it uncut. That's all it says. There's no sort of further information which you'd probably get these days, which would go into any decisions.
Yeah.
Even if it was uncut, they might still flag up, oh, this happens, this is why we've left it uncut, because it brings people back into the film. And basically what they're saying is it's an art house film.
Yeah. Only
intelligent people are going to watch it.
Yeah. I just like, that's so offensive. It's unbelievable. Honestly, it fucking got my goat today when I was reading all this stuff.
I know. The thing is, though, that actually, like, what were we, 15 at the time? We would have. It didn't matter if things were art house films or they were in foreign languages or whatever. We were actively seeking stuff out.
Yeah. Based
on its reputation, and if we'd read that some film was crazy, then we would, we were buying tapes that weren't even subtitled at all. Exactly. Watching stuff in completely foreign language and no subtitles.
Like, classic guinea pig.
Exactly.
What's that horrendous guinea pig film? It was just a guy talking in Japanese. No fucking idea what he's talking about.
No idea at all.
But we wanted to watch it, so we managed to found a way to get it. And
we actually got hold of Reservoir Dogs at the time as well.
We did, yeah.
Which, because it didn't come out on video, had a bigger reputation, and we managed to. Was it a Laserdisc copy we got?
Yeah.
Which we managed to.
We'll specify a Laserdisc copy on VHS.
On VHS. Yeah. Totally. Which was a bit of a money spinner at school, actually.
Should we get into that? I don't know.
No, probably not. Let's say lots of people at school were very interested in getting hold of a tape.
We're not video pirates, but we were young and silly at the time. So
yeah, totally.
Now we're just old and stupid.
Get your controversial films here.
We stall outside school.
And actually, the thing with Reservoir Dogs is, I remember seeing it. It actually screened in Kelso at the Roxy. The now long gone Roxy. Saw it at the Roxy. I just couldn't believe that there was any, like, what the controversy was. You know?
And that's the interesting thing you have to remember about, local councils can overrule the BBFC.
Yeah, totally.
They can show, over here, like, if the BBC cuts a film, a local council can screen it uncut.
Yeah, if they banned the film outright, then the local council can still decide it's fine, screen it.
Yeah, so it's quite interesting. That
it is quite interesting situation.
I think Monty Python and the Holy Grail was a big one back in the day.
Yeah, because it was sort of wasn't shown at a lot of councils because of blasphemy, wasn't it? But yeah. So, well, I think on our Ferman scale, it just has to be the lowest of the low, which is a raised eyebrow, I believe, isn't it?
I'm not even sure it's a raised eyebrow.
I don't think it's even a raised eyebrow. It's just 0 on the scale.
Maybe he's just merely crossed his legs. I don't know. I just absolutely know. I have no idea. Which is unbelievable considering what's going on in this film.
Well, exactly. I mean, he was a lot more upset about some significantly less extreme films, If the film had been in colour and in English, there's no way this film would have been passed.
No. That's the weird thing. That's the weird thing.
None at all. And I mean, the thing is, with when the moral panic did kick off, when the press did start going after the BBFC again, there's no way they'd have been able to back down on it. If they've passed something, they can't go back on it and say, we've changed our minds, so that's why it probably got off scot-free. The press knew they weren't ever going to get a change on it. But yeah, interesting. I mean, eventually Reservoir Dogs and Bad Lieutenant did get released, but there we have it. So I think that ties us up for the Man Bites Dog episode.
I think we are wrapping up. It's been a slightly different one. I think, it's as I say, it's one of those films you really need to watch and make up your own mind. It's just why we haven't rambled on about it for too much. It's certainly an interesting film.
Worth a watch for fans of extreme cinema.
Yep, I'll give tentative thumbs up. If you, I guess anyone listening to this has probably seen it, but if you are perhaps a young film student, fucking have a look at this.
Yeah, well, I don't know necessarily if people definitely have. It's certainly if anyone's a bit younger than us. I mean, it's
an old film.
Like I said, it's an old film now. But and do you want to take us through what we're going to talk about in the next episode? What our next film is? What the tenuous link is.
The tenuous link is, we are going to be delving into the film Raw, which is our most recent film so far.
Yes, and which I've never seen.
I've never seen it either.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
I've kind of swithered over it. And then obviously, I believe it's a French-Belgian film.
Well, there you go. And that's our tenuous link, isn't it?
That's our tenuous link. I'm looking forward to watching it because a lot of the stuff I guess we will have probably seen before, but we've got a few lined up. Certainly there's one that I've not seen before coming up, out with Raw. I have absolutely no idea what Raw's about. Well, no, I've got a vague idea. Some sort of cannibalism thing, which will lead us, interestingly, into the film after that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm looking forward to watching Raw. Lots and lots of good reviews, but on the same side, people I know are like, nah, boring. So I'll be interested to watch, and I'm looking forward to going into a film with no expectations.
Thanks a lot for listening, guys, and we'll catch you next time.
Awesome, thank you guys. Cheerio night.